Hi again, welcome back to the channel. So this video is going to be a sort of tips and tricks of the Yorkshire Three Peaks that we done a couple of weeks ago. So this is just a follow-on video. I'm Jamie. I've never been a 9 till 5 guy, and seeking out new experiences has always called to me. Whether it's micro or something a bit bigger, join me on my next adventure. I'm just looking at the footage now, and I've just gone through a few tips and tricks on my phone that I'll talk about, and hopefully it will be useful. I've written that down on my phone, so hopefully you don't mind me looking down every now and again. So, tip number 1, take plenty of water. I recommend 2 to 3 litres per person minimum. It was such a long day, and the day we done it was warm, so you don't underestimate how much water you're going to need. And again, 2 to 3 litres per person is something I recommend. I think that's what we had. It's one of those things that you just need loads of water, so yeah, take plenty of water. So tip number 2, take easy to eat high calorie snacks. We like naked bars, but any sort of high calorie bars or any sort of snacks that's sort of easy to carry, even some sandwiches or something, and but not big meals. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't like having really big meals while hiking. So really sort of small high calorie snacks, yeah, they'd be really useful for the trip. But there is also, if you've seen the video, a little vending machine sort of area, sort of 2/3 of the way through. So you can pick up some snacks there, but it's worth taking a few snacks for the day. So tip number 3 is there isn't toilet stops until the vending machine area, which I just spoke about. And it's about 2/3 of the way through. I suppose okay for men because you can just, have a little pee, but Sarah, the missus who I went with, she definitely struggled to find a toilet stop. There might have been behind a wall or something, but because it was really busy, there wasn't sort of any private areas. So, and like I said, the main toilet stop is sort of either at the start and the end, or at the vending machine area. Toilets in there. We didn't see any other toilet stops, so something to bear in mind. Yeah, it's just something to bear in mind. So tip number 4, comfortable hiking shoes and socks. Hopefully that's obvious. Comfortable broken in shoes and some comfortable socks, because again, it's a long day. We walk a lot all the time, and even our legs and feet knew about it. It's a long day, so you want to take care of your feet, otherwise it could be a struggle. So decent boots, trail shoes, and some socks. Tip number 5, a windproof shell, jacket and jumper. I've written down here, temperature differences between valleys and summits can be very different. And I check, and you should check, the Mountain Weather Information Service before you go for weather on the peaks, because the difference between the peak and the valleys, the temperature and even the wind strength and everything is quite different. So the day we went, the day before we went, I looked on the Mountain Weather Information Service website. I'll leave a link in the description below for the website. And it said something like, fog on the peaks in the morning at a certain height, but will go by, I think, 11 o'clock in the morning it was. So our first peak, it was in the cloud, and luckily it wasn't a surprise to me. I knew about it because I saw the weather forecast before. So always check the Mountain Weather Information Service forecast for the peaks, temperature, wind, and all that sort of thing. But take a windproof shell and a jumper, because it is very different up there. So tip number 6, start early. 6-7 a.m. in the morning is a good time to start, I think. It takes nearly 12 hours, this challenge. Well, the challenge is to do it under 12 hours. But the earlier you go, the better, you know. So it's one of those things that I'm a great believer in starting early, you know, so you can finish early. Yeah, I just start early. It's just much better. Tip number 7, if you're doing the challenge, don't stop for too long like we did. I think I mentioned, and you'll see if you've watched our video, we'd done it in 11.5 hours, and it was close to not completing the challenge of 12 hours. And it wasn't because we walked too slow, it was because we stopped too much and we stopped for too long as well. So we were really lucky. So I really recommend, if you want to do the challenge, obviously stop regularly, but don't stop for too long. You know, you need to get a wriggle on. We stopped and had coffee and had a chat, and you know, you obviously want to admire the views and things, but you don't want to stop for too long. Just be aware of that. Keep an eye on the time. Tip number 8, it's harder than you think. I put maybe do some 10-mile at least walks beforehand to get used to it. Like I said, we walk quite a lot every day. We walk for you know, around where we live and the forest and things, but so we're used to, you know, 5 to 10 mile hikes every day, walks every day. But if you're not used to a long walk, it's going to be tricky. It's really tricky. It's like I said, it's harder than you think. So make sure you get some 5 to 10 mile sort of walks in, you know, a few weeks beforehand before you do it. It was hard, wasn't it?
It was hard.
I think
harder than I thought it would
yeah,
be, actually.
harder than we thought. It's my legs, I don't know about yours, but are painfully aching.
Yeah, and my feet are zinging.
Take your time and have a few walks beforehand. It might be a nice way to break in your boots, you never know. But yeah, so get used to walking a long way. Tip number 9, I put, you don't need a map, although it's worth having a backup. I'm one of those people that always have a paper map, and I just like buying it for the area anyway, for the collection. But you don't need a map. The pathways are really well signposted. They're, you know, you're not going off grid or anything like that. It's just pathways the whole way, most of it. And you know, it's one of those things that I just basically used All Trails and a bit of OS Maps just to sort of see where I was. But you know, I didn't really need it. There was signs everywhere, so don't worry too much about map reading skills or anything like that. You know, I'm an advocate for map reading and that sort of thing, but you don't really need one to do this walk. So tip number 10, last tip, going on from tip number 9 actually, it's a long, well-trodden path, but it also has a few little easy scrambles as well, just a heads up. You know, it's all, most of it, 95% of it is just walking along a path, you know, either uphill, downhill or on the flat. But there is a few, I think probably 2 or 3 bits where there's small little scrambles that you will be putting your hands down, you know, and sort of climbing up a little bit.
That's almost a scramble, isn't it?
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah, not...
Short and sharp and a bit painful, but fine.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, you know, you don't need ropes or anything like that, craziness, but you know, you might need a hand here, a hand there. So just be aware that, you know, there is a couple of little scrambly bits on the trail, but nothing too crazy and nothing to worry about. So that's my 10 tips for walking the Yorkshire Three Peaks. I really enjoyed it. It was a really lovely day to do it, a lovely time of year. If you haven't seen the video, I'll leave a link at the end of this video, and so check that out. Like and subscribe and all those YouTube things if you want to, no worries if not. And also, just as an extra, a few bits of gear that I used, I'll leave links below that you can see what I used to, you know, to make the hike easy, and that sort of thing. So, and I get a little bit of a affiliate link cash back for that. So if you like any of the bits, make a purchase, and it helps the channel out a lot. So again, thank you very much for watching. There's more stuff coming soon, and in fact, next week I'm flying somewhere which is a lifelong adventure that I cannot wait to do. which I'm really excited about. So if you want to see where I'm going, like, subscribe and keep in touch. Again, thanks for watching. I'll catch you soon.